All right, this is a quick video. I just went on to check Twitter, and I like to see what sides say so that I can get a layout of the mentality of what people are thinking on both sides. And I usually, if I see a video is going to be violent, I just slide through fast, so I don't want to see people getting punched and stuff like that. But for some reason, I found some punching videos, and was like, I guess it was a bunch of Trump people on a street corner, and some guy came up, he wasn't in black bloc, but he was wearing black, and, clearly not a Trump supporter, because he punched one of the Trump people. And when the Trump supporter moved back a little, the punch really didn't land very hard at all. So, there was like a comment, whoever posted it said, if you're going to punch, don't punch like a girl or something like that. That's, whatever. But then the Trump supporter, started punching back, and he landed like 2 punches, and then someone in the Trump supporter group said, that's enough, yelling, that's enough. Anyway, the anti-Trump person really got his ass handed to him. He didn't end up unconscious, but it was like, so here's the thing. The people that and I'm not going to say conservative anymore because, I'm going to say, no, okay, I'm going to say whatever I want to say, but the Democrat versus Republican thing is a total illusion. Democrat and Republican systems were created by the bankers, and the conservatives, a lot of them figured that out a long time ago, and that's where the Tea Party came from. So they started the Tea Party. So they started smashing the GOP, and then Bernie ran in 2016, and his slogan, if you're not angry, then you're not paying attention. And that was an exciting time because you had basically Trump versus Bernie. And so it was like, Bernie had a huge following, and the emails that were given to WikiLeaks proved beyond any doubt that it was taken from Bernie. It was stolen from Bernie. So Bernie Sanders has a huge following, and that way back then was a huge departure from establishment Democrats. Okay, so Trump was a huge departure from establishment Republicans like Jeb, and Bernie was a huge departure from establishment Democrats. So in 2016, there's an exciting phenomenon happening that the majority of Americans, whether they were on the right or on the left, whether they were conservatively minded or liberally minded, were all anti-establishment. So that was, and then you had like Trump and Dr. Ben Carson, a neurosurgeon, were in the lead, and then through the primaries for the 2020 election, you had like Marianne Williamson, who's a very well-known author, metaphysical studies, famous person. I mean, it's so cool. So anyway, social media has made it possible for people who are not establishment and outside the establishment to run in these races. Anyway, the point is, the whole Democrat versus Republican paradigm is breaking down, and that's a signature of people figuring out that the old paradigm of Democrat versus Republican, just like the Simpsons episode where the Democratic versus the Republican were both aliens, and the mob said, we'll just vote for the independent, and the 2 aliens were like, oh, that's just throwing your vote away. And that was a long time ago. Okay, so I'm excited about all this all this shaking up, because people are waking up from this illusion of Democrat versus Republican being a real thing. Some people are, still in those camps. But you got the Lincoln Project, which are basically old school establishment Republicans who hate Trump. So, and then under Trump, you have Brandon Straka and Scott Presley. The resistance. They're both gay males, and they're both pro-Trump, and they both started their own movements. And I think it's Scott Presley. He went around cleaning up after all the looting and rioting. I mean, there's just so much cool stuff happening. It's, Brandon Straka. I don't know. He's gorgeous, but he is a Trump supporter, not a GOP supporter. Same with Scott Pressler, and all these other people. And then the 4chan anons, the Chan boards are loaded with people who are pro-Trump, but they're anti-establishment. And this is what's happening now. It's very, very exciting. But the people who started the Tea Party and the Tea Party movement stuff so long ago, they were made to look like cuckoo, and Ron Paul and the Fed. Dr. Ron Paul wrote a book called End the Fed. And if you listen to him speak, he is like a genius. And when he was running, he won the debate online, a poll online. He won like 98%. And then, of course, they make him look like a kook. In the media, he was like second to last. But he was 98% on the online polls. Okay. So that woke a lot of people up. So all these little things, they seem so small. Like Andrew Breitbart talks about his moment of awakening was when he watched the Clarence Thomas hearings. And unironically, Joe Biden was a part of the circus there. And what Clarence Thomas was calling it a lynching. And he was an uppity black, and not following the narrative and all that. And that was a long time ago. And now, there's a chance that we could see it could happen. It could happen that Clarence Thomas is put in some sort of a position to there's a better way to say this, but get revenge on Joe Biden. Come on. I'm in the world, not of the world. But this is just the greatest show on earth. And if you can get excited and you just go, oh, this is what's happening now. It's very, very interesting. So why I'm making this video is I was surprised at my ability to watch someone get punched 5 or 6 times. And I wasn't like, get him, like that. I wasn't picking a side. I was like, so I said to myself, am I getting desensitized to this violence? Because normally I would move through this, I don't want to see it like that. But I watched it and I was able to watch it. And in fact, I watched it a second time. And when I watched it the second time, I even more clearly heard the Trump supporter in the back going, that's enough, that's enough. And so I did end up retweeting it saying, that's enough. You can hear a Trump supporter saying, that's enough. And you wouldn't hear that at an Antifa thing. Now, what the left doesn't seem to realize is that they aren't as tough as they think they are. The only reason that they feel tough is because there has been a hand protecting them from the conservatively minded people. And I don't want to say Republicans, because that's not true. Because like I say, the Lincoln Project, they hate Trump and they're Republicans. So I want to say conservatively minded people, and I want to say Trump supporters, because it's a whole different thing. Because you have a lot of gay people, a lot of black people, a lot of Latino people, a lot of different groups that are supporting Trump. Every single one of my legal immigrant friends, and I have a lot, every single one is a Trump supporter. They're not like overly vocal, but they are vocal about their support. Every single one of them, without any question. And why? Because of their gratitude. They have this gratitude of living in this country and gratitude of being here. And all of them have accents. So they came to this country after they were born, okay? That's how I want to say that. And they all have this gratitude for this country and for Trump. Whether Trump ever lived or not, though, the gratitude in their heart for living in this country would have existed no matter what. Okay. What the left doesn't understand, because they've been allowed to throw tantrums and be violent and get away with it because the conservatively minded people, comma, the Trump people, comma, and the people who don't give a crap about any politics at all have been very patient. They've been patient. They've been, following the rules and laws of this civil society. But there will come a time, people are talking about civil war, oh, it's coming. Maybe there is a civil war coming. Because with every single human being, there is a point that they can take what they don't like. So so in my personal work on myself and raising my vibration and healing myself, sometimes I have to become comfortable with discomfort. Become comfortable with the discomfort. Get comfortable with the discomfort, okay? But there's a point, every human being has a breaking point. And the conservatively minded Trump supporter people and the people who don't care about politics have been very patient, and they've been following the laws of a civil society. Now, that has been abused. So, with this lockdown stuff, it's like 2 weeks to flatten the curve. That was fine. And then we were still, after 2 weeks, still figuring out what's going on. So 2 months. It seemed reasonable to most people, probably. Well, yeah. It seemed reasonable to about at least 80% of the United States population. And if you're wondering where I'm getting these numbers, I'm getting them intuitively, so take it or leave it. If you don't want to, the people I've done, given healing to, they understand this. And you can make fun of me if you want, but that's on you. That's your own hate, and you're free to think I'm an idiot, whatever, or full of shit. But so I was saying, 80% of the American population, after 2 months, were still on board with lockdown stuff and trying to flatten the curve and keep it. But you see now, we're in December now, and you see even now, the people on the left are under this illusion that because grown-ups won't mask up, we are still in this lockdown and it's all their fault. And it's like, oh, people have been wearing masks. These policies and things have been being enforced. So why don't we see like massive drop-offs in the numbers? Whatever. The media is owned by 6 corporations. 90% of the media is owned by 6 corporations. It's really obvious to a lot of people now. More and more every day. It's becoming more and more obvious to more and more people. So that's fine. The thing is, the conservatively minded people, the grounded people, the Trump supporters, and the people who don't care about politics at all, the independents, and that's one thing. Independent is one thing. And then people who don't care about politics is a totally different thing. Okay? They've been ultra patient. They've been more than accommodating, for the most part. But they have limits. They have a point at which they're going to say, okay, I'm not going to take this anymore. My freedoms and liberties are going. Our freedoms and liberties are going. Like Carolyn May says, taxes never go down and rights never come back. So all these people following this, it's like a tunnel for the sheep. They're like, oh, get the big V and then everything go back to normal. Really? Because, after 2 weeks, everything was going to go back to normal. And then after 2 months, it was going to go back to normal. And then now it's this, and then it's what? Then what? Okay. So people are buying up guns and ammo. Makes sense. People who hate guns are really now understanding the Second Amendment. They're watching what's happening in Canada and what's happening in the UK, and there was a huge group of people in the UK put on a demonstration for Americans. Please don't give up your gun rights. We did, and we're sorry. Okay, and then there was women who watched half their family get slaughtered, and they put out videos saying, "Don't give America, whatever you do, don't give up your guns." And the defund the police thing. If you defund the police and you don't have police, then people with chunks of money, they'll be able to pay their own, vigilantes. They'll be able to pay for their own agendas to be put in place. I don't really want to go any further than that, but understand this. Right now, the police, not all, but many, are being used to enforce unconstitutional dictates and mandates. Okay, I'm going to say that again. This is just true. Right now, many of the police, not all, but many of the police are being used to enforce unconstitutional rules and mandates and dictates. And I channeled AJ. There's a video called Channeling AJ if you want to know what he has to say. He was a black man that died of the thing. And he said, he said, look out for mandatory. Why mandatory? In a free country, mandatory. That should sort of make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Mandatory in a free country? Why is it mandatory? Just look at what's mandatory. That was one of the things he said. What's mandatory? Why is it mandatory? Okay? You can, but don't get scared. This is just so cool. But this video is about the people on the right, the Trump supporters, the Patriots, the the bikers. When I channeled this guy, I call him the foul-mouthed biker, and he calls himself a no-nonsense motherfucker. And when he was with his biker people, they were in a freedom vibration. So 900 vibration, freedom, gratitude, and empowerment. They were in that high vibration. And they were empowered people and grateful people. So one of the cool things about channeling is I know what it feels like to be him riding a Harley through a flat desert road with about, 6, 7, 8 other men. I know what it's like. I know what it feels like because I can channel people. This is why the real world does not interest me much at all. The physical world reality. This is why I don't like to talk to normies, because my experience, and I'm 50, since the 70s, I've been able to hear, angels or whatever you want to call it, people who aren't there. And so that's always been more interesting to me when my parents would yell at me, my angels, which is what I called them, would just say, she's just scared. They thought you were going to kill yourself. They thought they thought you were going to fall out of that tree. You were having fun jumping, all the height in the air, and your mom is screaming at you because she was afraid you were going to die. That's all. She's just upset. It's oh, okay. So imagine having that awareness. So I didn't take things in like regular people. Like my clients, I have to help them clear this stuff out. And they had things that happened before age 7, and also before age 9. The stuff before age 7 was really highly impactful, but then the stuff between 7 and 9 was also impactful. So their higher self can show me what happened to them in their childhood, and then we can bring the awareness to it. We can say, oh, okay. When this happened, when you told your mom you were excited about something, and she made you feel stupid and wrong and bad and da 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 da. And at that moment, when you were 9 years old, you vowed to yourself, when you got excited about something, you were never going to share it again. And my client said, I know exactly what you're talking about. I said, okay, because of that vow to yourself, you have 14 fibroid tumors in your body that each represents something you got excited about, and then you said, I'm not going to share it. So 14 different fibroid tumors in your body, each represent a time that you were excited, and then said, you remembered your vow to yourself, I'm not going to share it. I said, so what you need to do is, I spent a half an hour with this woman, just a half an hour, because she's a Reiki person too. So I said, you need to meditate, ground, and you pick up one tumor at a time, one fibroid tumor at a time, and you say, what does this one mean? What is this one from? And you see it, and you witness it, and you let it go, however you do it. Dissolve it, or blow it away, or set it on fire, or whatever. Each fibroid tumor, one at a time. What's this one? Okay, next. What's this one represent? Okay, what's this one represent? And a week later, she had to go back to the doctor, get another, either an ultrasound or an x-ray, and all 14 fibroid tumors were gone because she did the work. It's so cool. All right, so what I want to say in this video is that the conservatives, the Trump people, the grounded people, the common sense people are coming to their breaking point. The people who don't care about politics, they're coming to their breaking point. And they have been playing nice. They have been patient and accommodating all the way till now. It's December 6th right now. We had on November 30th, 2020, there was a full moon and an eclipse, and 14 days later, so we're in between, is another eclipse. And we're in between that right now. We're in that. And the planets are moving into a big alignment for 2021. And supposedly, I'm going to do some research, but supposedly there's the planets in alignment will create the Christmas star that is basically pictured in the nativity scene when Jesus was born, in the night sky, like that. Okay. And also, a planetary alignment, I'm going to do more research, so for just let this wash into you or whatever and see what's true, because I didn't do all the research yet, but that the planetary movements and stuff, energetically, we are coming to a time that is virtually identical in a lot of ways to 1776 when we fought for our independence. And so now it's a cycle, and so now it's time to fight for our independence again. But remember, fight for what you want, don't fight against what you don't. When you fight against what you don't want, you feed what you don't want. So the Patriots, fighting for their country, fighting for their Constitution, fighting for their freedoms, fighting for their liberties, fighting for. That's productive. That's vibration raising, because it's moving them towards the higher vibrations. Now, if people on the left, which are the useful idiots of Agenda 21, I didn't write it, that's the truth. They're pushing for and fighting for and being vocal about pushing for a dystopian nightmare that they believe to be a utopian. They've just been accessed. They've just been accessed and controlled with their minds. And people on that side, the left useful idiots, they're very taken with celebrity. And I've noticed that my whole life, because I've flown famous people. And who I really love was Steve-O from Jackass. And I really liked the energy of, I met Jerry Springer. he was in first class on one of my flights. And he was very nice. And I'm not going to go into all that. Okay. But the left people seem to be taken with celebrity or famous people for some reason. And this, the one that like sticks in my craw, as they say, is when I saw Captain Marvel, when I saw Brie Larson play a girl pilot, I was like, ugh, just gag. When she's like, it's like when these actors play pilots, they really act like douchebags. And you're just like, oh God. Oh. And then Leonardo DiCaprio at the end of that Catch Me If You Can, he's like, oh, they're using runway 44 today at LaGuardia. It's like, the pilot, whoever was helping them was probably like, you can say either 4 or 22. And instead he says 4-4, and they let it go in the movie. There's no such thing as 4-4. There's no runway 4-4. It's a circle is 360 degrees. So runway 36 is the highest you could ever get, ever. There's not even runway 37. So it's like, face palm. But the right, the conservative people, you know, the truly grounded patriot men, I want to say, have not begun to fight. Because once they start, they'll finish it. And they are ready for Donald Trump or somebody else to call, to give them a call to arms. And I'm telling you, they will show up. I've seen them say, I'll take a bullet to restore the Constitution, like that. And they will. It's 1776 all over again. And, you know, I grew up in the 70s, and I used to get into fistfights. And I'd get in trouble. And I remember my aunt one time saying, you know, we're kicked out of this park forever. Like, we can never come back here because of your fighting. I mean, okay, so my brother was crying to get off of this. I have a twin brother, and he could not fight, so I fought. And he ended up learning to fight later, but at this time when we were little, I was the one. And so I'd watch my brother get bullied, and then I would beat the crap out of whoever, until at some point in our age, I learned that I'm making it worse by fighting his battles. And it was hard as hell to stop. But anyway, while I was still little, I was fighting his I would fight anybody. And I had the strength of 10 times when I would get mad at someone being mean to my brother. There was just this like merry-go-round thing, and the kid kept making it go faster, and my brother's like, I want to get off, stop it, I want to get off. And he kept pushing it faster and faster. And I was on it with my brother. My brother's like crying. And I said to the kid, I said, stop it. And he was laughing and making it go faster. And I thought I was going to puke, but I pushed through, and I was pulling myself, and I was like, told my brother, sit down and stay in the center. I'm going to fix this, sort of. So I had to hold on and fight against the G-forces on this metal spinning thing. And I was grabbing on, and this kid's laughing. And I said, laugh now, because when I get off this thing, I'm going to kick the crap out of you. And I was tiny, but I found my way off. I remember like being so aware that I have to hurl my body off of this thing as it's moving, like up and over, so that I don't get hit by the metal piece coming at me. So I did. I flung myself off the thing, and I was so dizzy, I wanted to puke, and everything was moving, and I had to close one eye and chase him down as I was wiggling, trying to figure it out, and he was trying to run away, and I got better and better. And I was so dizzy that I knew I had to sit on him to hold him still while I punched him in the face and the head as many times as I could. Wow. It's all coming back to me. So I did. I sat on him, and I sat on his arms, and I just was punching left, right. I just kept going. And, you know, of course he's crying, but I was like, making it even for what he did to my brother. And they pulled me off the kid, and they kicked us, me, my brother, and my aunt, and out of the Cogs Hall Park in Massachusetts. We were banned. And I remember my aunt saying, we're banned. Like, do you understand what that means? And I'm like, and she's like, that means we can never come back here, like ever, because of you fighting. And she thought I didn't understand. And I was like, no, I understand. I do understand, but it's worth it. And I never had any doubt that I did the right thing. And even now as a grown-up, looking back, going, should I have punched that kid in the face so many times? I don't know, you know? I remember what he was doing. And should my brother and I have just stayed on there puking and getting vomit all over ourselves just because that kid thought it was funny? I don't know. You know, I don't have to choose. That is the beauty when you zoom out enough and you just go, well, that was just what was happening then. That was just an experience. My brother and I were experiencing this kid who was doing the thing we didn't want to be done. Then I hurled myself off that thing. I made some choices, and then I was doing something that he didn't want done. So in the grand scheme, he was doing something Chad and I didn't want done, and then I was doing something he didn't want being done. You know? Is it right? Is it wrong? Who cares? It's over. I don't judge my little me. You know, I bless her. I forgive her. I respect her free will choice to decide to not take it anymore. Fling herself off and beat the crap out of this kid who thought that was so funny. Maybe he didn't do that ever again. So I don't know. I don't need to think about it. That's just something that happened. It was happening then. It's not happening now. And I'm 50 years old, and I'm looking back at my child self and going, that's what you chose to do. Would it have been better to take it and puke all over each other? I don't think so. Okay, so in that same vein, if the right, or the Trump people, if the conservative, or the people who've been, look at the bar owner in Staten Island, this bar owner in Staten Island, 2020 is so ripe with like excitement. So a bar owner in Staten Island, New York, decided to make his bar an autonomous zone and let people in. And he got arrested. Yet, when the left does the autonomous zones and kills 6 people and rape countless people, that seems to be just fine, you know? And okay, well, why is it okay for people to protest? Why, you know, Lori Lightfoot, like with the megaphone, why is it okay for people to protest? Why is it okay for Nancy to get her hair done? Why is it okay for Lori Lightfoot to be out with all these people? Why is it okay for Gavin Newsom to eat out for hours with 22 people at a very expensive, and it's not okay for other people? Well, like I'm saying, these Trump people, they're taking it. They've been very patient. They've been very accommodating. There's a point at which they're going to reach their breaking point, just like I did on that merry-go-round. They're going to reach their breaking point. And the people who follow Trump and the Patriots are much stronger than the other side. The only reason that the left has been able to get away with all their tantruming is because the people on the right have just been patient and grounded, and they follow the rule of law, and they've been like, okay, when, you know. But now they're starting to say things like, I'm ready, call to arms, I'm ready. And I'll tell you what, I don't see Biden in the White House. And a lot of other intuitive people don't see it either. However that goes down, it goes down. I'm not attached to, it either way, but I don't see it. I don't see Biden in that White House, and I'm not the only one. I see a lot of other Hillary people and intuitive people. We don't see it. Not saying I'm right. I'm not saying we're right. I'm skeptical. I learn to listen. I'm watching the show. I'm an observer. Now, my new throat stuff, I've been called to speak, to zoom in more, not just stay on the outskirts and say, I'm not this. My body's not not me, it's mine. My mind is not me. That's all good stuff, right? Zoom out, show the high vibration. Yeah, it's like, So right now I'm getting called because my physical body is giving me information. And then I pray and meditate what's here for me. Well, come in, zoom in a little bit. Got to zoom in a little, and you got to talk to the people who want to get it. So that's what I'm doing now. And I'm telling you now, the left's tantrums were put up with by patient, grounded people who also have a breaking point. And when the left said, not my president, and when they stopped doing their jobs like making art with their period blood or with feces or collecting all their urine, like that's the kind of crap that they were doing for 4 years. The right didn't give a shit. You know, there were other people on the left cheering them on. Yay, that's a great painting with your period blood or with feces or covering. There were people covering themselves with their own feces and talking about how great that was. Okay, you know, that's what happened when Trump was not their president. I have news for you. If, I don't see it, but if Biden gets in, if that side, the New World Order side, gets in to power, if the New World Order side gets into power and the other side says, the Patriots say, not my president, and they shut down their jobs, you're going to notice. You're going to notice. And a lot of these people followed the rules. Okay, you want me to dump out all my milk? Okay, instead of giving the milk to people who are starving, instead of giving it to all these people who don't have jobs anymore, they lost their jobs and they're in lockdown, why not give the milk away? Those people will drive to get free milk. Why do we dump it on the ground? Why did they make them kill all their chickens and their livestock? Why are they creating a food shortage? They could have killed the chickens and given them away for free. Why didn't they do that? There's a reason, and it's disgusting. Why did they make them create food shortages? It wasn't about getting rid of the milk or the chickens. The chicken walking around and then them saying, you have to kill all your livestock. Okay, well, then they follow these orders, right? They follow these orders because they're order following people. Well, if you're told to dump out all your milk, why don't you just ask people to show up with empty containers, and instead of dumping the milk onto the ground, you let people show up with containers to get free milk. Okay? Same with the chickens. I'm supposed to kill all my chickens. Okay, so why don't I kill them and hand them to people? Doesn't that make more sense? Yes, it does. Because it makes more sense to grounded people. It makes more sense when you have common sense. Now, it's the people with the common sense, the people who have the trucking jobs and the farming jobs and the Patriots, what the Patriots and the grounded people do for work, if they decide to stop, we're really going to notice. It didn't matter if some girl with rainbow hair and piercings all over the place decided to stop making art with her period blood. Who gives a shit? Okay? Didn't bother me any. But if the Patriots and the truck drivers and the farmers and the, common sense people who do heavy lifting, who support Trump, if they go, fuck it. Well, the people in the cities who are so incredibly self-righteous, and they don't know where carrots come from, they're not going to know what hit them. And they don't know what it's like to live out in the country where we take care of ourselves, we have generators, we grow our own food, They'll be killing each other in the cities because they don't know how to take care of anything. There was a woman in the city who she said, oh, look at this prime real estate, she called it. It was the top of a building, and she had some men create this, she designed it, and she created these wooden lifted beds so that she could teach kids in the city how to grow their own vegetables. She was shut down. Why? There's a reason. It's disgusting. By creating dependency, they control everything. okay? And the people who are fighting for the New World Order are the useful idiots of the agenda. That's just what it is. They think they're fighting for a utopian future. They don't know it's a dystopian nightmare. Once they find out, they get the bullet first. And that's in the plan. Because once they find out that they're the ones that pushed for this utopia, and they've actually gotten rid of all the freedoms and liberties and, protections, and then they say, hey, this didn't go like you said, and now we can't do anything, and now I only get 1 potato a month. Blam, they're gone. So we live in such exciting times. We're very lucky. And I have to think that the dualistic nature of the physical plane of existence has brought us to this point for a very important reason. Democrat versus Republican, it's a system that's crumbling. And now you have New World Order versus freedom for the sovereign individual. And if you choose freedom for the sovereign individual, then you focus on freedom for the sovereign individual, including yourself and all others. All the people in home, yourself, your family, even if there's people in your family that you don't talk to. Just see everyone free. You have to love everyone. The people that you hate, if you hate, you're lowering your own vibration through fear. It doesn't matter what it is, it doesn't matter who it is. Okay? Freedom for the sovereign individual or being controlled. This is the choice. See it for yourself, see it for your family, see it for everyone in Hong Kong, waving the American flag, singing the national anthem. See it for everyone in Canada, everyone in the UK, everyone in Somalia, everyone in Africa, everyone, wherever your mind takes you. See freedom for sovereign individuals. And just flood the world with light. That's it. Don't have to do anything. You're not a judge, probably watching this. And if you are a judge, and if you have $130,000 that you don't know what to do with, I will take a free Airstream. Thank you very much. But most of you are not judges. Most of you are just like me. You're a regular, average American citizen. That's most of you. All you can do to fix everything or create the reality you want is to focus on the reality you want. Stay in your own highest vibration, relax, calm and center. This is just what's happening now. I could teach everyone I can't teach everyone. I could teach the people who are available for my reality to zoom out and just witness and raise their vibration and heal themselves, heal their bodies, heal their lives. I love healing people. I love channeling people. I love channeling dead people for people who are alive with certain conditions and situations that helps them let go. It's always about letting go. It's always about releasing some story that makes you a victim or some story that you can't or blah, blah, blah. Healing is never adding. It's always subtracting. Subtracting stories that make you a victim. That's healing in a nutshell is subtracting stories and energy that make you a victim, so that you can truly be the divine spark of pure consciousness that you are and enjoy your physical world reality. Your meat suit is just your car. I call it the soul's car that it drives around in this lifetime. And I think it was Ram Dass that called it a space suit, which I think is also adorable. It's just a meat suit. Okay. And I love you. But the Trump supporter people, the Patriot people, they have not even begun to fight. And when they fight, it's one of them. I'm telling you, these fights that I see, it's one that just with one punch just stuns the left. They don't seem to be smart enough. The left, the people in Antifa, the left, they don't seem to know what's coming if they defund the police. There's a meme, and it's Kermit the Frog, and he's in his car, and he says, it's defund the police. What do we do with the bodies? asking for a friend. And it's like, if the Patriots don't have police protection and they handle their own safety and security, if they don't have to make a phone call to 911 because they think someone's breaking into their house or something, and they're like, okay, I guess I just have to get my shotgun, they will do it. So the left has no idea. The left has no idea what they're up against and how weak they are compared to the Patriots. The Patriots are strong. And I'm a patriot. I love this country. I've flown all over the world. I've been all over the world. I've seen suffering and poverty. And to watch people on the left bitch about the United States, forgive them, Lord, they know not what they do. They really do not know what they're talking about. They are stupid. And that's okay. I don't love them any less. I still love them. But they are stupid. It's stupid to complain when you live in the United States of America. It's stupid to come up with new pronouns when what a lot of us want to do is end slavery in Libya. We want to end the horrible treatments of people in Yemen and Pakistan and all these other places. There is so much work to do. And we refuse to go back and figure out all these genders and all this crap. We want to go forward. We want to end slavery in Libya. We want to end all wars. I love that Trump did not start any new wars. I love that there's a peace agreement between Israel and the UAE and the Sudan, and Bahrain, and that Saudi Arabia wants to get in on that. I love that. I love ending wars. I love peace agreements. I love bringing our troops home. I love it. But there are people that don't love it. And there's a reason. And it's crappy. It's very exciting times. We're very lucky. We're so lucky. What do you want? Focus on that. Freedom for the sovereign individual. See it for you, see it for your family, and see it for all other humans that you're aware of on the planet. That will bring enough light in. If you just do that, you pull light into your little corner of the universe, and you connect to my light in my little corner of the universe, and every other renegade yogi's light in the corner of the universe. I'll tell you what, I just tried. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know how to make something trend, but I just did a hashtag, real men are patriots. Real men are patriots. You could have a problem with that, and that's fine. But I stand by it. Real women are patriots too, whatever. But it's really the men, the male energy is meant to be the protective force. I told this story one time. So I learned tapping. And in my town, tapping training was taught in the firehouse where all the parents found out that their kids on December 14th, 2012 were not coming home. So I learned tapping in the very place where the parents of the 20 kids that died on 12/14/12 found out that their kids were dead. And I said in my head, why the F would we learn here? That is gross. And then I got there and I figured out why. So I get there. It was weird because all the parking spaces right near the building were empty, and then there was parking. There was all these trucks parked far away. Why? Because the firefighters who were in the firehouse at that time made space for all the tapping people to park close to the building. They moved their trucks far away. Then I go in the building. Then you find out that the firefighters who were in the building took all of their food out of the refrigerator to make room for all of us to put our lunches in their refrigerator. Then I go into the room and it's a circle of chairs. And I sit down and I feel as class is starting, and Lori Layden is an amazing human being, and she's beginning the class. And she's one of the most beautiful souls to ever grace the planet. Okay? And I start to feel the class beginning. And I feel the love and the nurturing energy. I feel this is the softest, most nurturing place to learn anything. And I was like, well, that's weird. How could that be? Well, I saw in my mind, it was like all the firefighters were like this, holding hands. They weren't, but around the building. So the male energy, the masculine energy, these firefighters who parked their cars so far away so that we could park close, who moved their food out of the refrigerator so we could put ours in there. The men were creating this safe, protected space for the feminine energy to do the nurturing, healing work. So the male energy was on the outside, protective. Okay? Keeping us safe so that we could focus on nurturing and healing. And so that's an example in the physical world that's like, you can see it's like male, female, different, okay? But inside human beings, you have a male, inside every human being, you have male and female energy. And if you learn to balance your own male and female energy, like I was a tomboy and I loved airplanes and cars, and I still love machines. I love to drive things. I love machines, cars, airplanes, boats, jet skis. I love anything with a motor. I love to drive things. I love driving things. I love machines that move around. I love learning about how engines work, right? I love climbing trees, on and on. And then I became a professional airline pilot, and I maintained my femininity as a female airline pilot. So I found a way to balance my male and female energies. And when you learn to balance your own male and female energies and you make it harmonious and you don't try and pick one or the other, and I just saw somebody posted something and I completely agree with it. And it was posted by a lesbian who was saying, I'm happy for Elliot Page, who was Ellen Page. Ellen Page would be the dead name that you're not allowed to say anymore. I'm happy for Elliot Page, but I also am sad that the lesbian community has shrunk. Now, again, here it is again. It's this, societal description of what it means to be a male and what it means to be a female, and they're doing it again. And it's like, yes, like what about all these little girls that are just they're lesbians, and because they love trucks and motorcycles and heavy metal, they think they're supposed to turn into boys, and then that's a dead end. Or what if they're gay partners that they're supposed to meet up with later in life, they can't find them because they've switched meat suits now, they switched genders, whatever. All right, anyway, the point is, each human being doing its own work, raising its own vibration, balancing its own male-female energies, that's what brings the light. That's what brings you to your highest vibration. I was a tomboy, okay? But what did I want? What did I want? What did I want? What did I want? Listening to my guides, listening to my angels, listening to my higher self. Guide me, guide me, guide me. Female airline pilot. I got to fly jets and get hit on like 8 times a day. I got to run on the beach, skip rope, I lived like, my life. Lost my job 3303, and now I'm doing this. Fine, that's fine. Okay? But I was an empowered female. I was challenged multiple times. But I chose empowerment over victimhood every single time. That's the key. And the right has not begun to fight. But when they do, you'll know it. The left, doesn't stand a chance. And there's too many people that know about the agenda. There's too many people that know about the agenda. And the more people that know about the agenda and just know the left doesn't know what's going on, the Biden New World Order voters, they just, forgive them, Lord, they don't know what they do. They don't know what they're pushing for. Oh, well, at least the strength and the power is on the side that wants to shut down the agenda. And that's the Patriots. And so I'm a patriot. I'm a proud patriot. I love the United States of America. And instead of letting people flood in from all around the world, I want to help make the rest of the world be able to stay where they are, not because I don't want them here. I love all my immigrant friends because they have a gratitude that Americans do not seem to have access to. But I want to be able to make people be able to stay with their oldest living relatives in their own countries and yet experience the same freedom of the sovereign individuals, no matter what country they're in. I want health, safety, and happiness for every human being on this planet. Every little boy in Pakistan who's getting raped at the bus stations to pay for drugs so that they can keep getting raped, to pay for more drugs. If you're voting for the New World Order and Biden and that whole side, I know there's only really 25% of people in the United States that are there. Most people see it, but they're the silent majority, and that's why people are like, silent no more. I am a patriot. Real men are patriots, because I watched my son on his first date, and I watched him meet, because I had to drive, he's young. I watched him meet the father of the girl he wants to go take on a date for the first time yesterday at 4 o'clock. I watched this man shake my son's hand and sort of welcome him to this club or thing of what it's like to be a man and to meet the father of the girl you want to date. Okay? It was so cool. My son's soul chose a male meat suit. He chose to be a boy. He chose to be a boy that picked his dad and to be a man. This whole first date thing could not have gone better. I'm so in awe. I'm so humbled by my own life and the beauty that's in my own life. It's so cool. I want this for everybody. I want this for everyone. So while they were on their date, I was finishing Christmas shopping, and the best things were happening to me. Oh, I bought this for myself. I love it. I bought, I don't have the other one on. Everything that I wanted was on sale, like crazy sale. I talked to this lady named Eliza, I have to call her back, at the J. Crew outlet from somewhere in Massachusetts. She's my new best friend. We were on the phone for like an hour. She helped me get these jeans. I put these jeans on for the first time that I'd gotten like at the outlet, and I only bought one pair, blah, blah, blah. I was wearing them. I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I have my pre-baby body back, my pre-baby ass back, you know? And I'm like, I need more of these freaking things because these are perfect. Like, I haven't had jeans that were like perfect in years. I'm like, I need more of these jeans. And this lady, Eliza, helped me get them for like $25 a pair. Oh my God. Less than that. So she's my new best friend. Sorry, Ellen. Anyway. Okay. I'm sorry these videos are so long. Sorry, not sorry. But until I get used to my own new way, whatever, I'm working it out right in front of you. Keep in mind that, I was happier like sitting in my little healing room, teaching people one at a time. All these good things are happening. I'm learning that how much I had this person that I love. I still love you. I helped. And now she's got to help herself. And it's a whole new world. I'm telling you, my clients, my people, they're doing amazing. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the rest of the world is crumbling. Because my people who are getting it are finally able to just create what they want. It's awesome. It is so awesome. And I can't even explain how much I love the people who are still watching after almost an hour. But I'll tell you, I'm a patriot. And I have male and female energy. And I will fight for my children's freedom and empowerment. And I will teach them gratitude for everything. gratitude for being a man, gratitude for being a woman. I freaking love it. I love 2020. I love 2020. Mwah! Love it!